Welcome to Bike Life, a podcast from the Warmshowers Foundation. Here, we celebrate our global community of touring cyclists and hosts who make life on the road unforgettable. Through stories, insights, and shared experiences, we explore the connections that fuel every journey. Whether you're pedaling across countries or welcoming travelers into your home, you're part of a movement rooted in generosity and adventure. Discover more and join the community at Warmshowers.org. Now, let's hit the road together. Hey everyone, this is Jerry Kopeck, the host of Bike Life, coming to you from the Rocky Mountains of Breckenridge, Colorado. Now, if you're looking for some inspiration today, settle in, because you're in for a treat. Jeffrey McElfresh is a cyclist whose strength goes far beyond the miles he rides. He lives with CMT1A, a form of peripheral neuropathy that makes walking difficult, but on a bike, he finds freedom and strength and joy. Last summer, Jeffrey completed a 10-mile tour along the Ohio River from Pittsburgh to Cincinnati. It was captured in a PBS documentary called Jeffrey's Journey, and you are going to want to watch it. Hey, Jeffrey, welcome to Bike Life.
Glad to be here, man. Thanks a lot.
Now, I have to tell you, when I first read your application, I immediately watched a documentary and I thought, I need to talk to this guy. So can we start with the basics? Tell me about CMT1A and maybe when were you diagnosed?
Okay, so CMT1A, like you said, is a peripheral neuropathy. And basically, it's a degenerative illness. So it starts at my brain, and the signals that go out into my body for movement, they basically get dimmer the further away from my brain that they are. So at the more distal points of my body, my fingertips, my hands, my toes, my feet, that signal has lost its strength. That causes me to lose muscle tone, which causes my tendons to contract, which gives me hands where my fingers want to bend in like this. Great for gripping the handlebars, not so wonderful for a Ziploc baggie. So yeah, I was diagnosed early on when I was a kid. They noticed my foot started to turn in when I was running to base in baseball, but I didn't get a real genetic testing until about 8 years ago, where they pinpointed exactly what it was that I had, which was CMT1A, and that's where that comes from.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
And have you noticed any progression in this?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yes. So it's been very, very slow, basically my entire life, or ever since my growth spurt, if you will. Yeah. But for my whole life, it's just slowly gotten worse. Sometimes it's almost imperceptible. It's like I wake up one morning and I can no longer do something. But otherwise, it's just, a slow slide down that ramp.
Wow. Okay. So what I know about neuropathy, I think about it as like a tingling or numbness sensation. Is that what you've experienced?
I do have some numbness, not a whole lot in the way of tingling. Okay. And I will also put it out there. I'm very, very lucky that I have really little to no pain. I do have some pain, but it's not, it's not keeping me off of the bike or keeping me from doing things that I want to do.
So is pain a typical effect?
It can be, but it is not consistent. CMTA is really widely varied. There's quite a few different types, and some of them have more pain than others.
Gotcha. Now, Are there things that maybe slow down the progression?
Unfortunately, at this point, no. Okay. Which I will tie in to the bicycle real quick, right? So, sure. When I got that real diagnosis, and they had told me this before, but this was a moment where they flat out said to me, hey, there's nothing that we can really do for you. Your best bet is exercise and do not get hurt. And that was when I, like everyone else, I've ridden a bicycle my whole life for kicks and joy and fun. But that was the year that I went out and purchased an actual road bike and started putting some miles on. That was my exercise. It was a way for me to raise my heart rate that I couldn't do with walking or running. I'm not running anywhere. So it was that moment that caused me to go and seek out the bicycle.
Okay, that was my next question. So
Yeah.
you've been a cyclist for most of your life. You grew up in the Midwest, so you probably used to bike to school and bike to your friend's house. You've always have been on a bike of some sort, right?
Yeah, I remember running home because I lived close to my grade school, running home and getting on my bicycle so I could fly through the streets. And the crossing guards would yell at me, and I would yell, "I've already been home."
I love that. And so you're in Ohio still, right?
I'm in Ohio. Yeah, Dayton, Ohio.
Got it. So talk to me about the Dayton cycling community.
The Dayton cycling community is pretty intensive. We've got a Dayton cycling club. We've got the Major Taylors group, both with heavy numbers. Today was Bike to Work Pancake Breakfast. We saw hundreds of cyclists literally downtown getting their pancakes and sausage and coffee. Just a really huge amount of people that come out here and cycle. And as you may or may not know, Dayton has the largest paved trail network in the nation, 350 plus miles of paved trails.
What? 300 miles?
Over. Yeah. So I'm in a really good spot to do this.
Wow. And people talk about, so I grew up in Boulder, Colorado, and we have a great network there. And people talk about Europe and the communities there, like Amsterdam and those places. But 300 miles is amazing.
It's a lot of miles. And every year, the amenities that become available along those bike paths and bike trails just get better and better.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So I want to talk about your documentary, Jeffrey's Journey. And I have to tell you, I've seen it. I've seen it twice. It's a really terrific storytelling, incredible cinematography. Some of the aerial shots are amazing. I love that we have drone footage as a capability now, right?
Isn't it? It's astounding. Yeah.
Yeah. And the film is such a wonderful blend of humor and of history and, of course, inspiration. So what was your motivation to make it?
So really, it came out of an idea of representation for disability and accessibility in kind of adventure sports. So I've been doing these cycling trips for a while. I've done a road to Niagara Falls. We've got the Ohio to Erie Trail. I did something called the Midwest Triangle. So from Dayton, I went to Chicago, to St. Louis, back through Indianapolis, back to Dayton. And then last year, I rode my bicycle across the country. I made it from the entire southern tier solo, self-supported. I rode from San Diego to St. Augustine, Florida. And I did a lot of journaling, if you will, writing. I did social media. I also did Cycle Blaze. I had an account on Cycle Blaze, which is like the Coke to crazy guy on a bike's Pepsi.
Yeah.
But so that caught some attention, and somebody was like, this is a fantastic story. The producer, Richard Wonderling, was like, this is a fantastic story. We have got to get this on film. And it took a long time to get it together, but we finally did. So yeah.
Wow.
Right?
I mean, again, so I've watched the film. I've tried to engulf myself in your story. I didn't realize that you had done so many other massive expeditions, like coast to coast in the US. I mean, that's 3,000 miles.
It was over 3,000 miles. And, I went east. So I started in California. And so that was a challenge. That was some of the hardest riding I've ever done, hands down.
Did you come over any big mountain passes? Like, did you make your way through Colorado?
No, I came through, Alpine, California, down into Yuma through that route.
Okay. So did you get more like desert exposure then?
I did. It was March, so it was beautiful. It wasn't too hot, but it was nice.
Okay.
So the day I left San Diego, it hailed ice on me. And then it snowed in Alpine. So I took a day off. Day 2, I took a day off because I didn't want to ride into the snow. I was prepared for cold temperatures, but not for snow. So yeah, it was a trip, man.
So I want to go back to talking about your film. What was it like cycling with a film crew? Like, did you feel like you're a celebrity and like everyone's following you around? Was it kind of annoying? Like, what was it like?
I wish. It was a trip, man. So I am having a disability and growing up in this culture. pushed me to be pretty invisible, if you will. I had a tendency to dress down. I didn't draw too much attention to myself. So doing this documentary, and it's why I write. It's because I can hide behind the pen, if you will. I don't mean hide, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So getting in front of the camera took some getting used to, but not that much. And
you didn't show it.
I really enjoyed it. Yeah. I decided straight from the get-go that the only thing that I can do is be honest. And if I'm going to be honest, then all I have to do is act natural. That's just how I'm going to go about my business, and just go for it. That VO work, the voiceover work, was it. It started out like, oh, I don't know, you know what I mean? Like my voice, I don't know, but it ended up, I really enjoyed it. It was fun. So,
by the way, cool. Thank you for translating the VO for us non-celebrity film stars, yeah, right? Because I didn't know what VO meant. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
So 10-day trip. Talk to me about the route and why you wanted to film this trip as opposed to all the other routes that you've done.
So we wanted to tie in some of the history, and Richard has a long career with PBS and Think TV here locally. And so he used to do a series called Our Ohio, and it's something that interests him very much. So we wanted to kind of go along those old steel city corridors along that river, right? Before highways and what railroads, that waterway, the Ohio River, was our main transportation. And so we saw a ton of potential to show what has happened in that Appalachian area over time through the lens of cycling. And it's an area that doesn't see a lot of cyclists. There were a lot of people that were not familiar with having bicycles on the road. So it was, there were parts of it that were just downright dangerous. There were, no shoulder roads, pretty tight areas, but yeah.
I was gonna mention that some of the footage of you on the highways with semi trucks and concrete barriers looked a little harrowing.
I'm telling you.
How'd you kind of settle into that?
So one of the editors said, are you just purposely selecting all of the footage that have 18-wheeler long haulers in it? And it was like, no, that's just the consistent type of vehicle that you find on those roads. Oh. Yeah. So interesting. It was all good except for those concrete barriers. Yeah.
Right.
Those, they hem you in, and it's
yeah, you feel squeezed, right?
Yeah. Cause usually when I'm riding on a highway, if I hear that rumble strip, I've got the option of just ducking straight into the shoulder, like into the grass, yeah. But having that wall there was like, a little sketchy.
What was a typical day like? Like, how did you start your morning? Like, I'm assuming from watching your film, you get up with some mobility, some exercises, but take me through a typical day on the road with you on this process.
Yeah. So generally I will wake up and everything is wet because, right, you're bicycle touring. That's just how it's going to be. And so I carry a small little stove and I make myself a cup of coffee, and I usually stop and get some cold food that I can have for breakfast. And then I do my meditation, which is usually 10 to 25 minutes, whatever, kind of get my head straight for the day. Which is very interesting when you're bicycle touring, because it's hard to break free of that mentality of all of the things that you need to do to get yourself underway. I can be a little bit anxious about hitting the road. So that gives me some time to kind of revive and catch my groove. And then I pack it up, and hopefully things are dry. Sometimes they're not. I usually pull it out for lunch and let my tent wave in the breeze and dry out some more. But that usually gets me going for the day. I try to camp whenever possible. I can't afford to stay in hotels. I don't stay that way if I can avoid it. But yeah, and then I'm on the road. I try to do 2 kind of sessions. I'll do a early morning session, take a nice little break in the middle of the day, and then do another afternoon session and get where I'm going.
Yeah, that makes sense. Was there a favorite section of the route that you really enjoyed?
Absolutely. So that section, it's down near Athens, Ohio. It's Meigs County, right there. You're right along the river. It's a little hillier, but because of that, it has just, the beautiful scenery. It's just absolutely terrific. I want to throw in real quick on that day-to-day thing.
Yeah.
That's one thing about the film crew. Some of those shots some of those bridges, not the crazy one where I enter Ohio.
Yeah, I saw that.
Some of those, some of those bridge shots, I rode across that bridge 2 or 3 different times so that we could get that shot.
Get the shot,
Yeah. Generally, yeah. So, they kept me out of any real dangerous scenarios. If we got the shot once and it was kind of sketchy, that was it. But yeah, so that was unusual. I don't like to do that backtracking. You know what I mean? I'd rather loop than out and back. So
well, and once this film takes off and goes viral, celebrity stardom is going to hit you, and you're going to be having like stand-ins or stunt guys to do these repeated sort of out and back sessions to get the shot.
Right. I can see it now. I can see my stunt double practicing my gait. Good luck.
I love your humor, Jeffrey. I love it. So when you got finished with this route, were you ready to be done? Or were you like, I think I want some more?
I was thinking I would ride home because I was in Cincinnati and I'm just an hour. I'm an hour north in Dayton, but I was done.
Okay.
I was done. So
gotcha.
My wife was ready for me to come home.
Okay. So I want to come back to talking about your partner. But one thing I noticed in the video, do you ride in sandals?
Yes.
Okay.
They are clip-in sandals.
Interesting.
Yes.
So clipped in.
Yeah.
Okay.
That really helps me to know where my feet are and to keep my feet in the same position.
Okay.
I do pretty well, except for when I spin out, when I'm going too fast and I'm in a really high gear or low gear, whatever. Yeah. And, the pedals want to crank real quick. I will slip my feet will slip every time. So the sandals just really help me out a lot.
Now, is it easy to kick your ankle out to unclip?
This is interesting. First of all, I have those clips set at their maximum weakness, so it is easy for me to get in and out of them. And then the other thing is I have to clip.
Is that an oxymoron, by the way? Maximum weakness?
It is, right? Yeah. I have to kick my heel in to get my foot out. I can't spin my heel out, which means I have to be careful on the right because I will drive my heel into my chain. Yeah. So it takes a little bit of practice, but don't all talk about oxymoron, clipless pedals, right?
Right. Because the toe clips are actually the straps, right?
Yes.
These over your pedals.
Yeah.
If there's nothing clipped into those. You're just kind of into these kind of basket with a strap around it, which is not clipped in.
Right. I'm using actual, what are they? SPD clips? SPD.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that we can sort of nerd out on gear talk because we're definitely going to get to that later in our talk here. So be ready for it.
Yeah.
All right. So you had mentioned that when you're on a bike, life is better. Can you describe what it feels like in your body or in your spirit when you're riding?
Yeah. So if you can imagine what it's like to slowly lose your mobility and to not be able to run through a meadow full of flowers and thinking about that and what a bummer that is. And then I get onto the bicycle and I can zip and I can zoom and I can, I can get going and I have that freedom of mobility that is like running through that field of flowers. It gives me that feeling. It gives me that sense of joy that I am able to, to feel my body move, feel my muscles pull and tighten and flex and just enjoy my human body. So it's a big deal for me. It really is.
Yeah. And as you mentioned earlier, it allows you to sort of ramp up your heart rate, get that going, get your oxygen really pumped up. Yeah. Otherwise, like you said, you're not running to get your heart rate up at this point. So
right. Yeah. So the cardio work is difficult. And I'll be honest, if I try to swim, I sink like a stone. So I'm not doing much swimming, although I enjoy the water, but it wasn't an exercise for me. So
wow. Okay.
Yeah.
If you don't mind, I want to pivot a little bit and talk about your partner, Tracy. You guys have been together since high school, it sounds like, right?
Almost, yeah. We had a few years in the middle that were lost, but we've been together since then. We were married in 2001.
Wow, incredible.
I know.
Now, does she tour with you?
She used to. She was hit by a car in Florida, a very slow-moving incident. She did go to the hospital, but she is fully recovered physically, but mentally she's no longer doing it.
Okay.
It's just not going to work for her. She still rides with me on the bike paths, but we're not interested in getting her out onto any roads.
Got you.
Yeah.
But she fully supports you in all your crazy adventures?
Yes.
Awesome.
Now, that's a difficult thing to do, right? So it isn't like a celebration that I'm going to leave for a month,
sure,
that I'm going to be riding on roads and whatnot. But she does understand what I'm doing and why I'm doing it. And that, that's huge for us. So,
yeah, because there's inherent risk in any tour, especially like going across the country in places you haven't been. But she knows that this is what you want to do. And probably more so, this is what you need to do.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. And she supports it. She really gets it. So
that is so important.
Yeah. Yeah. Amazing. Thank goodness for her. You know what I mean? And I set my alarm and I call her every single night and I text her every single morning. I send her the same morning text every time. I am awake and safe.
Awesome.
Every morning I wake up in my tent. I should have said that. That's the first thing I do in my tent. Send that text. Let her know that everything is good.
So you had mentioned that you traveled across the country from west to east. How long was that trip as far as time?
75 days it took me.
Holy moly, man.
Yeah.
What was that like?
It was insane. One night I spent a night in a Red Cross shelter in Texas because of the flash flooding. I got some footage of it. It's amazing. There was water everywhere. And I felt it was, I roll up to this Red Cross shelter and there are people in there that have like photo albums and their kids, things that are important to their kids. And I've basically got my home on my bicycle, right? I've got pillow and blankets and everything that I need for a comfortable night's sleep. And so I'm in this shelter with these people who are, potentially losing everything. It was a trip,
Perspective, right?
Real perspective. Absolutely. Yeah. Whew. So, and then I get up in the morning and I leave and it's all behind me, and this is their life. This is where they are. So it was an eye-opening experience.
That's one of the things that I've experienced too, bicycle touring for myself in faraway countries where people don't have some of the nice luxuries or benefits or niceties that we experience and we may take for granted.
Yeah.
And so I've been in places like India or Nepal where just getting into school for kids is a 5-mile walk, or going and retrieving water. Like, I think about when I wake up in the morning at my home in Colorado, I go to the sink and I turn on the faucet and water comes out. And
clean water.
I can drink it too.
Yeah.
The things that we take for granted. It's like, man, people ask me like, hey, if you're having a bad day, like, I got no problems, man. Like, I'm doing okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. So then the next morning I wake up and I take off on my bicycle and it's very cloudy and overcast.
Yeah.
And I notice that the water just keeps getting higher and higher. It's covering parts of the road. And finally the sun peeks out behind these clouds and I realize I'm going the wrong way. I went 8 miles the wrong direction because I was on the phone with my wife, talking. And I'm like, why is the water getting higher? So I had to turn around and go back. Yeah. Long day.
Jeffrey. That's awesome. So what do you use do you use like a navigation app then?
I do everything on my phone.
Okay.
All of it. Yeah. So I baselined everything with the ACA Southern Tier for that ride. And then built out anything I wanted to change later through Ride with GPS or something like that for little short stints. Like if there was a POI, I wanted a point of interest I wanted to see somewhere else, I would go and check that out. But for the most part, everything is on my phone.
Good. Yeah. So you mentioned Ride with GPS. Is that kind of your go-to app that you use?
I flip back and forth. Sometimes I do Strava. Sometimes I do Ride with GPS. I've been known to do something called Footpath, which is a little bit cheaper and will generate some good routes. I like that also. But I mean, and Google Maps. I spend a ton of time, of course, on Google Maps.
Which is terrific. It's extensive. It's detailed. I mean, think about when we first started bike touring, at least for myself, 20 years ago, everything was paper maps. which was great. It felt like an adventure, but it's a little bit more difficult to navigate because you didn't always know where you were on that map. And then you didn't always know like what the topography looked like. Is this going to be an 8% gradient going up, or is this going to be a rough road or a paved road? Like now, all these offline apps that we have, like, well, touring became a whole lot more approachable.
Yeah, much, much more accessible.
Nice. So along this 75-day route, were there any moments of kindness or generosity that you experienced along the way from people outside of, say, the Red Cross?
Oh, absolutely. Daily. First of all, I'll say this. I did not have a single negative experience with a person on that entire ride.
Really?
75 days with no sketchies, no, this or that. I had no issues. So
no road ragers?
No, nothing like, I mean, cars. Yeah, I don't know, but people very chill. Okay. And then, the people that I met along the way, are absolutely terrific. And of course, most of them are Warm Showers hosts. You know what I mean? Like I stayed with a ton of people as I went across the country, and it was, Warm Showers is like, for me, I almost don't even want to say it. It's like one of the last unspoiled places on the internet. It's like the people are still wholesome and good and caring and kind. So
we're a host in Breckenridge. So where I live, there's 3 major routes that kind of come right within a mile of my house. So there's the Trans-American route that goes west to east, east to west. There is the Great Divide route that goes from Canada to south to down to New Mexico.
Yeah.
And then there's also the Colorado Trail, which is kind of like an off-road bikepacking route. And they all come within a mile of my front door. So I am so fortunate that I get to experience all these people traveling from not just other parts of the state, but our country and then other places around the world. So really, really cool experience, meeting some amazing people.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I want to pivot and I want to do some rapid fire questions. You game?
Yes. Is this a psychological test?
No Rorschach stuff here, right? So first off, sounds like you're a bike guy. What kind of bike do you have?
Okay, so I'm coming off of a Trek 520. That bike was 30 years old. I've just updated to a new bicycle. I got the closest thing that I could get to a Trek Checkpoint SLR, but it's called a gravity bike. So it's a carbon fiber bicycle, adventure bike with disc brakes, hydraulic brakes, easy. I went down to a 1x11 gear box, so I'm only having to shift with one hand, which makes it easier for me. So I'm riding a carbon bike now.
Is that drop bars or flat bars?
I put flat. Well, I ride do you know the orange Velo crazy bars?
I don't, but I'll look those up.
They're pretty wide.
Okay.
They've got some sweep to them, but they're pretty wide, but they also have the horns out here in front. Yeah. So you can stretch out forwards also, and then still pop to the sides when you're on the highway and those 18-wheelers pass by you with that wind gust. You can keep control. Yeah. I was going to ask you, since you're going down that direction, have you made any modifications to your bike? Minor. Just those sandal clips where I clip in with my feet. And then I was using grip shifters. I went from bar end to grip shifters. Mm-hmm. And those helped me out a lot. But nothing other than that. I keep my seat pretty low. It's easier for me to reach the ground. I can't go up on my toes with my foot. I have to be flat footed on the ground. So my seat is a little bit lower, but otherwise I'm riding a traditional setup. Got it. And can you stand up when you pedal on big hills or no? Excellent question, Jerry. Thank you. No. No. Okay. I do all of my riding seated, and everyone tells me you should have just as much power in the saddle or the seat as standing up. So I think they're just trying to make me feel better. Yeah, I've watched the guys in the Tour de France, and they're going up the steep hills and the Alpe d'Huez and the Alps. They're standing. Yeah, they sure are. Yeah. Okay. So it just means you're stronger because you're sitting and you're pushing more watts, more power that way. Yeah, maybe. Probably not. So your bike, does it have a name? Okay, so the The Trek did. Yeah, they both do. The Trek was named Fanshawn, and that's from an old Mary Pickford silent film called Fanshawn the Cricket, where basically her character falls in love with a man, some dude who is about to die, and the only thing that saves him is her love for him. So her name was Fanshawn. That's where that came from.
Wow.
If you like old silent films, check it out. It's a great story. The new bike is named Pagoda because it is definitely like a temple on wheels for me.
Wow. You're deep, and I feel very shallow because my bike is named Kermit after
That's a good one.
Kermit the Frog, because it's painted Kermit green. And some of the places I've ridden it, you've heard his old saying, like, it ain't easy being green.
Yeah.
Some of the places I go, like, it's not easy. So anyways, nowhere near as cool as Fanshawn. So kudos to you, sir.
Thanks. I'm trying to think of my wife's. My wife named her bike. I think it's something like Jolly Good Ride or something.
It's a little wordy. I don't know. Not quite the same snap or ring to it as Pagoda, but it's okay. Yeah. It works for her. How about a favorite snack food that you always keep with you on your bike?
Bananas, hands down. I always carry bananas. It's something you can get at almost any gas station. Yeah. So I do peanut butter, banana burritos. That's what I eat.
Okay. Favorite piece of gear that you carry with you? Could be like a vest or a jacket or a tool or something.
Yeah. My phone is obviously would be the one. But as far as that, I would say, maybe those sandals. I mean, they were my last piece of, they completed my all-weather riding. So once I got the sandals, if it rained, I could just keep going.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go with my sandals. I really love my sandals.
I'm with you on that. I'm a sandal kind of guy too, because they are so versatile. Like if you get cold, well, you put socks on. If you get wet, well, honestly, you throw a plastic bag over your foot and then shove it in the saddle.
Yep.
But when it's hot, nothing better than cool open toes, right?
Yeah. And also I get this awesome pattern on my feet from the sun.
Yeah. I know exactly what you are talking about. What did you learn in your travels that you didn't need, that you got rid of?
Trying to get to the next spot. Okay. Trying to just setting out with the intention of just getting somewhere. I never really raced from point to point, but I started out with this idea that I needed to cover some territory for the day. And I quickly learned to just go with how it's going to be. Some days, on that cross country trip, I only rode 10 miles, 12 miles for the entire day. And it was, sometimes you think maybe that's, not the accomplishment that you're looking for, but I kept moving. And that's what, yeah.
I mean, what a great takeaway. Just keep moving, right?
Yeah, just keep going.
Okay, so one more rapid fire question. Which do you hate more? Wind, heat, rain, cold?
Wind.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The wind has a mind of its own, right? It somehow manages to find you and get all up in your face no matter what you're doing, right?
Yeah. I am the same way. It has a way of just carving into my soul and just mentally debilitating me. Like if it's
tough.
Hot, I can mostly deal with heat. I'm not great with heat, but rain, we've got Gore-Tex. Cold, I'll put on some insulation. But I'm with you, Jeffrey. Wind just scrambles my brains.
I think in the documentary, I say that something like, wind knows how to throw that sucker punch. You come around or you come out of something and you're like, or you get to the bottom of the hill and it's just like this headwind, right? Like swooping down the hill, trying to take you out. Yeah.
Yeah. There's nothing worse than like a downhill headwind where actually you're having to pedal downhill. Like, come on, where's the payoff?
Yeah, I know. We were talking about that this morning. That's so funny. Yeah. And it is, it's just, it's also something like you talked about mentally, where it's like in the beginning, I wanted to fight the wind and I realized, you can't do it. I have to just settle in. Yeah. I have to settle in and deal with it and just make my pace.
So you had mentioned, going back to your documentary, that you don't really benefit from this financially. It's really more about spreading the message. So what
Yes.
message do you hope people walk away with after watching Jeffrey's journey?
I want people to walk away with the message that the journey really is the bliss, that the journey is really what it's all about. Is suffering exists, and that's just how things are. And when you start to embrace it, you can start to move beyond it. So that's really my message: is stay mobile, stay active, find what brings you joy, that gets you off of the couch, and go for it.
I wish you could see my arm right now. Like I have goosebumps, man. Thank you.
Yeah, you bet.
That's amazing. And finally, I know you're on the road a lot. What's next? Summer plans?
I leave for the CNO and the Gap on June 1, and I am ready to go. Yeah. We're going to drive to Pittsburgh. It's only 4 hours from here. Then we're going to take the train with our bikes into DC, and then ride back to Pittsburgh. Nice. So 6 or 7 days on the CNO and the Gap, no cars, nature, should Paradise. Be a good time of year. Yeah, I'm ready. Yeah. I'm ready to go. It was a long, wet, cold winter.
I understand. Yeah, it just snowed here where I live last night. So
yeah. Oh, I believe it. Yeah, you're up in those mountains.
Oh, man. I want to thank you so much for taking the time and sharing your story today. So for our listeners, how can they find your film or follow your travels?
Wonderful. Thank you so much. So you can follow me on social media. I'm on just about everything under Juicy Melt. It's all one word. I know it's kind of weird. JUICYMELT, but it's just it's kind of like that trail name, that buffer between you and reality on social media. So you can follow me daily on there and find out what I've got going on. For the documentary, you can just search Jeffrey's Journey. It's on the PBS link in YouTube, and it is it pops up pretty easy to find. So it's also available on Passport, the PBS Passport app, but that's I don't know how that works nationwide. I don't know if it's going to be on your Passport or not, but you can definitely find it on YouTube.
Yeah, and YouTube is not just nationwide, it's worldwide. So
yeah.
Easy place to find it. And we're going to have links to all these things in our show notes. So people are going to find you.
I appreciate it, man.
All right. Well, I want to thank everyone for tuning into my conversation with Jeffrey McElfresh. If you enjoy our show, give us a like, a share in our social channels, or maybe just tell your friends. These stories hopefully will inspire you to set off on your own bicycle adventure and maybe make the world feel a little bit smaller, one pedal stroke at a time. My name is Jerry Kopak, and until next time, keep the wheels rolling and the stories coming. Thanks for joining us on Bike Life. I'm Jerry Kopak, and I hope you enjoyed today's episode as much as we enjoyed sharing it with you. Please leave us a rating and review, or just tell your friends. This helps us reach more cyclists and hosts around the world. To learn more or become part of this amazing community, visit us at Warmshowers.org or follow us on Instagram at Warmshowers_org. If you'd like to be a guest on the show or have a question you'd like us to explore, email us at podcast@warmshowers.org.